Today's games are brought to you by AE Engine Media Marketing, AmericanEagle.com, Bag Tags, Bubba Burger, Bullseye CMYK, Cliff Kid, Expand-A-Brand, Front Rush, Fusionetics, Dick's Sporting Goods. Today's games are also brought to you by Major League Soccer, Nestle Nesquik, Nike, NSCAA, Positive Coaching Alliance, Premier International Tours, U.S. Soccer, Wilson Trophy Company, and Yokohama.
The road starts here. The road paved by pain, sacrifice, and struggle. The road paved by passion and pursuit. The road where dreams come true. On this road, many will fail, and on this road, many dreams will fade. But as for you, what will be your fate? When there are seconds left and you are running on fumes, will you be satisfied with almost? Or will you dig down into the dirt, take one more step and make one more play, knowing that good enough isn't good enough? And all the blood, sweat, and tears have brought you to this moment, the moment where pain turns to greatness. On this road, nothing is given. Everything is taken. On this road, winners will rise to the top. Heroes will be made. And on this road, champions will be crowned.
It was 1935, the year that Elvis and Sandy Koufax were born. It was a year of many firsts, including the first NFL draft. The first Monopoly board game went on sale. Social Security began. And Babe Ruth hit his last home run. In addition to these milestones, the National Junior Challenge Cup was founded in 1935, offering a youth competition for young men in the United States. The cup was later named the James P. Maguire Cup, after the late U.S. soccer president, who himself was quite a standout in his earlier days, winning the U.S. Open Cup in 1929. Maguire would lead U.S. soccer and earn an international reputation as an excellent leader.
The Jim Maguire Cup was started in 1935. It was the only cup that the United States Soccer Federation had for youth players. And it was a very good competition, and I can tell you, I mean, this was the highlight of my soccer career to be a champion in 1954.
This storied cup, now the oldest trophy in youth sport.
It has a history, it has a meaning, I think it has tradition. So I think it's extremely important for our competitions, for all the age groups that kind of emulate the Maguire Cup.
Winning the Maguire Cup is huge, just because all that history that comes along with the oldest trophy in youth sports period, that's really big for us.
Who will write their name in the next chapter of the storied Maguire Cup?
Griffin, McKenna Schultz, Kylie Metcalf, Riley Dietrich, Gia Lemley, Bailey Nemechek, Callie Campbell. And that wraps up the starters for Arsenal, Colorado. We'll get into some more of the details about how these two teams got to this point throughout the match. Just know that it's an interesting juxtaposition of styles as TSC comes in undefeated, 4 wins, no losses, no draws, compared to a 2-1-1 record for Arsenal, Colorado. Laid on back by Kelly. Served over the top, trying to get it onto the forward line. Running underneath it was Pascal, but the defender got there first. Looking for space up the right-hand side. Arsenal trying to find a little bit of room. Nothing to be had there. Pascal couldn't quite get it under control. Couldn't find the handle. Making the run here on the near side is Garst. Pascal taking it. Sliding it through. Garst with the one-time shot. She scores! In the 3rd minute of play, Julie Garst puts it home, and it's a 1-0 lead for TSC. That's the way you draw it up on the whiteboard. If you're TSC, you couldn't expect much better finish on the shot or a better start to this contest. Now they're looking for more. Pascal puts it in! Just like that, it's 2-0. So Garst and Pascal with a goal apiece in this one. We're not even close to 10 minutes in. And TSC already has a commanding lead. Arsenal, Colorado really been pushed back onto their heels as they try up the far-hand side. Looking for a little bit of space into the box. Chance for Nemechek. Defender saw it all the way. Nemechek again. She scores! Defense be damned. This one is nothing but offense right now. Still not even 5 minutes played, and it's 2-1. That was about as perfect a shot as you could get there for Bailey Nemechek. She didn't just blast it completely. She put enough touch on it to get it to drop in behind the goalkeeper. Nothing much Sydney Malham could do. So 3 goals scored, and we are not 5 minutes in yet. Sliding the pass through was Bishop, looking to the left-hand side. That wasn't quite on. To the far wing now for Zimmerman. Trying to get it over through to the middle. Campbell was there. Instead, they have to drop it back to the defensive side of things. A chance to push it upfield here for Dietrich. A little too strong, and it'll come over here to the near side into touch. So TSC was threatening to run away with it, and Arsenal finds a bit of an answer. B to the far-hand side. One-touch passing. A good run up the sideline by Lemley. Turn and push from Bishop. Slides it over the far hand side, and the return pass was just a bit too far off the mark. DePriest trying to chase down. They're going to get DePriest for the initial foul before she took a spill. An unbelievable start to this one. We're in the 7th minute of play, and we've already got 3 goals, 2-1 your score. Numbers pushing forward for Arsenal, Colorado. Couldn't be settled down cleanly by Campbell, and that will allow TSC to clear it up towards the half line. Near side for Garst as she came in towards the middle. Trying to switch the point of attack. Going over towards the right. Sliding up is Nemechek. And that one was a bit ambitious. Too tall for everybody. Garst gets a flick onto it. Settled down now by Pascal. Tried to go over to the left-hand side. DePriest was there. Dropping it to Stum. Even further now. French. French lobs one over the top. Lemley gave it up. Bishop. French. And now Smith. Smith with White making the run. Too heavy on that first touch, but she's able to track it down. Gets it in towards the 18. And that'll be a goal kick. Garst brought it down, but it ends up in the possession of Arsenal with Lemley. Now the team's trading bad passes back and forth. There's another one intercepted this time by DePriest. That one intended for Pascal. Now we seem to have settled into this one a little bit. We went through that kind of feeling out period. We're in the 10th minute. Teams seem to have settled down, gotten into a bit more of a rhythm, although the passing has not been quite on point quite yet. Mahler's making her way around a couple defenders, hands it off. Lemley. Schultz just banged it up the sideline. It ended up going off of one of the TSC players, though, over on the far side, so it'll stay with Arsenal, Colorado. Decent through ball, but coming over to pick up the loose change was French. High up in towards the box, skying up to get it was White. Schultz. Dietrich. Now Campbell. Took a chance towards goal. Again, a little bit hopeful there from about 35 yards out. Didn't seem like it had enough sting on it to really cause the goalkeeper any issues had that gotten through. Gast calling for it here on the near side. Almost intercepted as Maulers was stepping in. A giveaway here in the middle of the park. Again, the final ball's just not quite on point yet, which is kind of surprising given the good offensive showing that we've seen. Good showing over on the far side for both teams, especially given the morning hours of this one. We appreciate you joining us here in the early morning hours on this Championship Sunday. A little bit earlier in the morning for those of you out in the Mountain Time zone. Out at the foot of Maulers. Maulers going to put a right foot drive into it off the woodwork. And that couldn't have turned out any better for the goalkeeper as it fell right to Maulem. Oftentimes that goes off the bar, off the goalkeeper and in. Instead, it managed to kind of get caught up in between her legs and just stick right there. Arsenal, Colorado able to clear it away at least momentarily. It'll be a throw for TSC. Bit of a body check there. That would have been good in the NHL, but not quite as much here.
Katie, you have to show me that you want to get moving. Hey, Julie, when we drive, see if we can slip Carly if she comes into your space. When we drive there.
Driven in towards the 6-yard area. Defender got a piece of it. Mahler's going up to flick it away, but that will concede the corner. So the corner will come from the near hand side. Looking to regain that 2-goal lead. Goalkeeper misses it. Defender dealt with it initially. And there was enough contact in there that the free kick will be coming out. Slid through by Dietrich. Now Nemechek. Lemley's coming over. Ball was slid through for her, but not quite where she wanted it. Gast making the run up the near side. Couldn't quite handle it cleanly, otherwise she would have been off to the races and onside as well. That was very dangerous, cutting across the front of goal. They had a couple players there. DePriest was coming in on the back door, but she couldn't quite get a touch. Defender was able to clear it away. But the momentum starting to swing back to the way of TSC. They've had the better of the possession and the chances here in the last couple minutes. Close to the end line and then blasted away. You can tell that the adrenaline is starting to wear off for both of these teams, and now it's going to really settle in and figure out who's better. Arsenal Colorado's already done better than the last time they faced TSC, as that was a 3-0 loss. That one back on Wednesday during the group stages. Laid back by Lemley. Dietrich. B. And now Campbell. Campbell again. This time she'll keep it for herself. Not a bad chance towards goal. You like the idea, but she needed to keep that one down just a little bit more to really kind of trouble the goalkeeper. Sydney Malham hasn't had a bad game, but you can't say that things have necessarily gone against her either. She's had some good fortune. That shot ringing off the crossbar and then coming down, settling right in between her legs to allow her to smother any kind of rebound hopes. Nemechek. Far side now. Schultz pushing up from the defensive line. Taking up all the space, eating up yards. To the top of the box now, Dietrich. But she spun right into some pressure. Drive in towards goal, spilled initially there by Malham. But really, it's going to be difficult, even if there was players standing right next to her, to get on top of that one before the goalkeeper could really get a grasp on it. Up through half field. One on the line by Campbell. And off to the races goes to Priest. Pascal. Pascal wins it back. And then finally just lobbed out by Schultz. Quickly back in as the throw was taken very fast. Thumb. Now for Gast. She wanted to put a drive through it. Second attempt. And then that little push out towards the right-hand side was enough to get that one out of a danger area. As once she went outside with it, it was going to be difficult to swing the hips back through and get it past the goalkeeper.
That's it. Good, relax. That's about we win.
21st minute of play, 2-1 is your score. We had 3 goals scored in the first 4 minutes and change. Things have settled down considerably since then. A lot of miscues going on in the midfield right now with some less than stellar passing. It seems like each team manages to string together 2 or 3 decent passes, push forward a little bit, and then give it away. So perhaps the realization of what they're playing for is kind of sunken in now after that big-time adrenaline rush there to start the contest. Pushing upfield now is Bishop. Rolling it in towards the box. A little bit lackadaisical there from Graham, but she's able to pick it up. Nobody really moving around. So the lob ball over the top finds nobody in a friendly jersey for Arsenal, Colorado. Defenders surrounding this in the midfield. Well played by Metcalf to just touch that around. Schultz. Defenders backing off just a step. Second attempt here for Nemechek. Lemley going up top. Well blocked a couple times by Dietrich. But Zimmerman just couldn't quite get onto that final attempt. Slid through here for Gast. It rolls into the box, but now the goalkeeper has to play it. Williams bailed out a little bit. She was off balance, but according to the center official, there was enough of a knock. Now pushing on through is Dietrich. Pressure from behind, able to steal it away. Getting the piece of it was Mabe Kelly. And this one will roll just towards the end line. So after a frenetic start, this one has calmed down quite a bit. Both teams just trying to reset themselves here. This game very much ticking like a clock. The pendulum swinging back and forth like the old-time grandfather clocks. For every push up the field from TSC and possession, that seems to be countered by an equal amount on the opposite end for Arsenal, Colorado. Lobbing one over the time, trying to get it on for Harper White. Had a little too much curl onto it, allowed the defender to get in underneath it. White again, this time pushing inside. Trying to find Gast on that through ball, but that was a little too much to hope for Bishop. Far side now for Nemechek. As Arsenal, Colorado seeking an offensive opportunity of their own. Very deliberate from Nemechek. Sliding it up towards Zimmerman. She's guarded closely by two defenders. And that one will go up and over. And that one's most likely going to go out. Thought it might have rolled into the pond that's down there. Ends up staying up here by the fence line. Goal kick puts it back into play. Nemechek. The run was being made, and frustratingly so, because it couldn't be found over on the far side. Almost pilfered away. Instead, Pascal pushed it on back. They're looking to the far side, making the strong run is Jestings. She couldn't quite get enough wheels to keep that one in. Just out for the throw. Too firm on the pass as DePriest tried to feed Bishop. French trying to escape the pressure from Zimmerman. French up the sideline. Pascal cutting it in towards the middle of the pitch. Middle of the park now, Pascal. Too heavy. Defender dealing with it initially, and then it just barely went over the net. That was incredibly close. Arsenal Colorado with some decent defending there on the chance to get back, but very dangerous. A few heartbeats skipped there as the ball bounded up into the air. Almost looked like it was going to go in. Sub coming in now for Arsenal Colorado as Kaylee Crosby checks into the game. She replaces Esther Maulers. Bishop up into the air now for DePriest. And it just wouldn't settle down. DePriest now again with the cross. And that goes off into the side netting. Defender touched it last, though. Mispunched by the goalkeeper there as Victoria Graham came out, and the ball was much more of a line drive than I think she anticipated. And as a former goalkeeper myself, I've been in that kind of situation where you kind of made the decision to go for the punch before you truly saw how the ball was going to come in, and it puts you in a rather inauspicious position. And she tried to just kind of flail at it with one hand, and it ended up almost costing her. Into the game now for TSC is Addison Puskar. Blasted out. French will have to pick it up, try to serve it back in. Puskar was running onto it, but French lobbed it up. Pascal with a cheeky little back heel, shooting one along the ground. And again, off the defender and out. Corner kicks starting to accumulate here for Tennessee Soccer Club. Arsenal Colorado's struggled to deal with them a couple times here or there. So they need to start cleaning things up, otherwise TSC's going to increase their lead again. Good ball towards the back post. Goalkeeper gets a solid punch on it this time. Graham learning from her mistakes, watching the ball much more intently this time. She does concede another corner, but that was much better than the alternative from her perspective. So we go from in-swinger to out-swinger. And that one was a bit of a miscue. It goes almost straight out. Alleviating the pressure just a little bit for Arsenal Colorado. As they wait for the pendulum to swing back in their direction, but it has been much further in between this time. It seems like with each increasing chance, TSC takes a little bit more. They push a little bit further. They get a little bit better of a chance. Arsenal Colorado has done a good job of having possession when it's afforded to them. But in terms of creating an actual shot on goal, that's been a little bit more difficult. On through the midfield, Bishop picks it up, stumbled just a little bit. In over on the far side. TSC forced to go all the way back to their defensive side. Smith all the way back to Malham. Up towards the half line. Dealt with there by Campbell. She brings it down. Bishop in pursuit. Campbell sliced it through two defenders, but couldn't quite retain possession. A second attempt. Campbell gets it up for Williams. Stepped into by the recent sub, Pusker.
Stay tucked in, Jen. Stay tucked in. Pass this way. Hey, back in there. Hey. Up. Go on. Offer touch.
Trying to get away from pressure as Crosby serves it right into a danger spot in terms of a giveaway. As if that's on Bishop's foot, she's going to push it up to Pascal, and then it's all things on. Here's White setting it up rather deliberately. Coach DePriest wanting a little more pressure being put on here by his team. Pascal trying to chip it over the top. Running onto it over on the far side was DePriest. Loses the headband in the process. Bishop in the box. Bishop around the defender. Bishop! And a kick save. Gast tripped up just a little bit, and the advantage kind of ran out, so the foul was given. Another substitute coming in for TSC. Elizabeth Tank checking into the game. Lobbed in towards the box. A little bit difficult initially for the goalkeeper. Graham kind of took a step out and then had to retreat that initial step. But ultimately an easy catch. A little too cute from Lemley. Here's Zimmerman. Zimmerman pushing it in towards the 18. Zimmerman to the end line. Trying to get a cross in. But that was way too close. And Malham says, "Thank you, ma'am." Now Zimmerman. Arsenal, Colorado, still looking for that equalizing goal. Putting on pressure now was DePriest, who, fortunately for myself, managed to find that headband, because sometimes as a broadcaster you look for little indicating markers, certain boots, certain headbands, things of that nature, to try to kind of help you identify players. That definitely is an aid. Coming into the game now for TSC Showcase, Savannah Hill, as she replaces Julie Garst. More subs coming in, a trio's worth. 2 for TSC and 1 currently for Arsenal, Colorado. Bishop trying to put the pressure on. Hammered away by Graham up towards the Hatfield circle. Just out of the reach there. Sticking out the leg was Lemley, but she couldn't bring it down. Second attempt, this time intended for Zimmerman, as she kind of falls over one of the players. Almost a game of who can keep themselves up the longest there. So a throw in now for TSC will allow them to make the substitution. Checking in now is Chloe Tremblay, as well as Blair Garrido. Also in for Arsenal, Colorado is Riley Osler. Here comes the pressure by Tremblay, trying to work their way around it. Zimmerman had it poked away just a little bit. Decent settle from Lemley. Dietrich. Absolutely no space to be had. Now she finds a little bit. Lemley. Dietrich again. They're working in very close quarters here. And they seem to be doing a good job of it, but what has kind of been disappointing from Arsenal Colorado's perspective is the fact that they do so well in those tight quarters, but instead of continuing to pass it around within players in a near distance, they try those long balls, and those are the ones that have really been getting away from them. Williams gets it back after stumbling ever so briefly. Advantage played as there was a little bit of a knock there. Williams tried to take the shot. That one easily blocked. Crosby keeps it alive, trying to come to Zimmerman here on the near wing. A little too firm with the first touch there for Hill. Nemechek. Schultz, and a little too eager to look forward, forgot about the ball. The wind picking up a little bit here in Frisco, making it for a very pleasant morning. We'll see how much that affects some of the later games as of right now. In terms of any favoritism in this one, it would be on the side of TSC. Pretty much going left to right, somewhat flowing out towards the far corner flag. Into the game now for TSC is Sarah Severstein. Severstein checking in, and Katie Stum coming out. Tremblay. Now Pusker. Options running out. Schultz fell down in that attempt, but still managed to come away with the ball. Lemley, a little bit of green in front. Pusker took that away rather quickly. Chesting the ball was Ostler. And now the pressure by Severston. Able to come away with it. And then she had her pocket picked as Crosby came in and made up for her own mistake. Crosby again. Now Metcalf. Near side for Zimmerman. Zimmerman just sliding up that line. Couldn't quite hold it in. She had been hemmed in nicely. Sandwiched up was Dietrich, trying to regain it. Able to chop it away. Good battles here along the near touchline. Trying to chase it down there was Garrido. And a little bit overzealous in the challenge. But ultimately it's so far back that the free kick not really going to hurt anybody. Coming in now for Arsenal, Colorado, will be Scout Bolander. Also in is Katie Townsend. So Bolander going to take up a defensive role, whereas Townsend coming up here on the left wing. That one took a suspicious bounce, a little too high for the defender. Goalkeeper ultimately came out and cleared it, as Graham was on top of her game. '44th minute. No word on any additional time tacked on to the end of this half. You would figure with 3 goals scored in the opening minutes that they might add at least a minute or two. Sub coming in now for Arsenal, Colorado. In is Shreya Pandit. And out was Kaylee Crosby. At least 1 minute of stoppage time going to be added on to the end of this one, and we're 30 seconds away from the end of regulation. Pandit. That was cut out, saw all the way by Jestings. Miscalculation on the pass there, but nothing ill will come of it. Pandit with another chance. Through the midfield now. Ostler. A little too hard for Campbell to pull down. Garrido. Pusker up top for Hill. Laid over here to the near side. Wouldn't roll all the way through to Townsend. Another chance for Dietrich. Only about 40 seconds left. Nemechek. Now Williams. Dealt with nicely as the 2 threes collided. White getting the best of that battle. Step 2 and 1 by French. Pushing up that far sideline. Now she realizes she needs to get back into position. It tried to go along with it, but it just went under the leg of Tremblay. And there's the halftime whistle. 45 minutes in the books. And nothing decided quite yet. It looked like TSC was going to run away with it, and instead Arsenal Colorado managed to claw their way back into it at least a bit. More after this. I'll take a quick break. We'll have the second half of action coming up on Turbo Sports Group in just a moment. Today's games are brought to you by AE Engine Media Marketing, AmericanEagle.com, Bag Tags, Bubba Burger, Bullseye CMYK, Cliff Kid, Expandabrand, Front Rush, Fusionetics, Dick's Sporting Goods. Today's games are also brought to you by Major League Soccer, Nestle Nesquik, Nike, NSCAA, Positive Coaching Alliance, Premier International Tours, U.S. Soccer, Wilson Trophy Company, and Yokohama.
The road starts here. The road paved by pain, sacrifice, and struggle. The road paved by passion and pursuit. The road where dreams come true. On this road, many will fail, and on this road, many dreams will fade. But as for you, what will be your fate? When there are seconds left and you are running on fumes, will you be satisfied with almost? Or will you dig down into the dirt, take one more step and make one more play, knowing that good enough isn't good enough? And all the blood, sweat, and tears have brought you to this moment, the moment where pain turns to greatness. On this road, nothing is given, everything is taken. On this road, winners will rise to the top, heroes will be made, and on this road, champions will be crowned.
It was 1935, the year that Elvis and Sandy Koufax were born. It was a year of many firsts, including the first NFL draft, the first Monopoly board game went on sale, Social Security began, and Babe Ruth hit his last home run. In addition to these milestones, the National Junior Challenge Cup was founded in 1935, offering a youth competition for young men in the United States. The cup was later named the James P. Maguire Cup, after the late U.S. soccer president, who himself was quite a standout in his earlier days, winning the U.S. Open Cup in 1929. Maguire would lead U.S. soccer and earn an international reputation as an excellent leader.
The Jim Maguire Cup was started in 1935. It was the only cup that the United States Soccer Federation had for youth players. And it was a very good competition, and I can tell you, I mean, this was the highlight of my soccer career, to be a champion in 1954.
This storied cup, now the oldest trophy in youth sport.
It has a history, it has a meaning, I think it has tradition. So I think it's extremely important for our competitions, for all the age groups that kind of emulate the Maguire Cup.
Winning the Maguire Cup is huge, just because all that history that comes along with the oldest trophy in youth sports period, that's really big for us.
Who will write their name in the next chapter of the storied Maguire Cup?
Welcome back to Frisco, Texas. Todd Panula along with you here on this Turbo Sports production of the 2017 U.S. Youth Soccer National Championships. It's the finals between TSC and Arsenal, Colorado, and as you see on your screen, the score at the break was 2-1. We got all our goals scored within the first 5 minutes of play. It was a goal in the 3rd minute by Julie Garst, a goal in the 4th minute by Carly Pascal, and then a goal in the 5th minute by Bailey Nemechek. And that's how we ended things after 45 minutes. So it should be a good, solid second half with everything to play for these two teams as they try to crown themselves national champions. So that one rolls out over on the far side, an early miscue, although it seemed to be slightly intentional. Try to get that one up into the attacking area for a TSC showcase. Again, if you're just joining us, we welcome you in this morning. It's been a solid first 45, and hopefully it'll be an even better second 45. Once again, Arsenal in the blue, the mostly dark blue, with striped fronts, and the all-whites for Tennessee Soccer Club. Lobbed up here to the near side. Trying to run onto it was Pascal, but didn't quite get there. All the way back for French. Again, Pascal, the intended target, not going to quite make it there. So the sun rising up a little bit higher, the temperature creeping up a couple degrees here and there, but with the wind, as you can see, the ball getting caught up there. It's reasonably comfortable overall. Definitely not affecting the play. The wind might be, but the players should be pretty comfortable out there. Now Nemechek tried to push that one through. The runner was Williams up here on the near side as she was trying to bend into the box. Schultz had her pocket picked. Coming up now is DePriest. She's stepped into by B. Miscommunication there as Nemechek just kind of puts her arms out. She was trying to go inside. Lemley thought it was coming towards the outside. And it, never in twain shall you meet. Now a strong run up the far hand side. Garst taking it in towards the 18, cutting it back inside. Left footer. Now Pascal kind of fanned on the volley attempt. That would have been a good chance. Very difficult to save if she really strikes that cleanly. But she kind of banged it off the knee, perhaps the shin pad a little bit. Is this one, again, just too direct. '49th minute. Bishop brings it down out of the center circle, near side for DePriest. Slices around one defender, some shirt tugging going on. And DePriest will get the foul. Trying to send that one on towards the touchline. Williams has it. Now Nemechek as her number counterpart. Tried to steal it away. Again, Arsenal, Colorado going direct, trying to send those crosses in through the air. And it's not a bad idea, really, but the execution of the passes has not quite been there. Continuing it on, and that's got to be a foul. The first one could have easily been given. And it'll be interesting to see whether or not we have our first booking here or not. So Bailey Nemechek manages to stay out of the referee's book. Nemechek will be attending Kansas State in the fall. Can't say I approve as a Jayhawk. Lobbing one over the top. There was a big commotion right there in front of the box, but nobody came away with it. Laid back. White. Jestings up for Garst. Jestings again. Stum, Garst, and Kelly. Pascal, heavy on the settle. Near side now, Lemley tried to get it on for Williams, but the ball was spinning, a little bit difficult to flick that header. Pascal couldn't get it away from Dietrich. Metcalf, left footer, up the sideline. They were hoping that that one would run out, but Metcalf couldn't quite make the run onto it. Now here's Metcalf again. Has that one pilfered away. Into touch. A little slower going in the first 5 minutes or so of this half than we had in the first half. Very hard to match that kind of intensity. Obviously, usually coming out of the gates in the second half, sometimes you'll see goals given up, but it's going to be difficult to match 3 goals scored in the first 5 minutes of this first half. Flag went up, offside the call. And the whistle came rather late, as the offside is probably a good 10, 15 yards outside the box. DePriest touches it back to herself. And then stolen away by Williams. In through to Schultz. Schultz continues the run. Now it's a question of whether she keeps it in. She does. Nothing to do there for White except touch it out and allow the defenders to come back in aid. Again, we see the differences in styles showing up every time possible. TSC has tried to get it in quickly off these throws. Somewhat difficult for Arsenal Colorado to do just that when it's ended up played onto a different field. But still, they're a little bit slower to get the ball back in, trying to maintain possession each time and not get too antsy. Nemechek couldn't quite get there. Second attempt. Now Bishop will send it upfield. This one has a decent amount of bite on it. Flag stays down. Pascal ended up winning it, but defender was able to clear. Interesting to see the whistle blown, as it looked like Mahlers was able to control that in the midfield. Schultz from the right. Williams moving into position, as is Lemley. Instead, she goes central. Dietrich with the one touch. Just out of the reach of Nemechek as she hits the turf. DePriest wanted to come outside with it. Instead has to go towards the middle of the park. Now on for Pascal, around one defender, and she is tripped up from behind. I think it was somewhat unintentional, but that has got to be a card, and it will be. So in the 55th minute, we get our first booking as Taylor B gets the yellow. So B very fortunate. The feet just kind of got caught up, but it was a foul all day long. And the problem that B had, and why she is fortunate, is that could easily have been a situation where a red card could be given out. And now we're going to have some problems for TSC as one of their better goal scorers, Carly Pascal, is going to have to come out. She's having shoulder problems. Seems to be able to move it somewhat all right. Hopefully she'll be able to return later in the half. I've had that injury myself. Separated shoulder is definitely not fun to deal with, regardless of whether it's a non-surgical problem or not, which mine was, but it still took a good 2 or 3 weeks to work itself out. Hammered high up into the air. Goalkeeper comes out, but the defender was there to deal with it. Bishop told to get up by the official. Again, just kind of in between options are Arsenal Colorado every single time. They were looking up for Dietrich. Lemley was also there, but it kind of split the difference. Lemley will carry it over towards the left and now look in towards the box. Chance towards goal, and that was off the backside of the defender. Whistle came from one of the other. And that was a good chance in the end there for Nemechek as it just barely curled away from target. Seemed like a rather innocuous play initially, but then Nemechek got a decent right foot through it. And fortunately for TSC, it had just enough bend to miss the target. And that is not a good sign. Looking over here to the TSC bench, they are putting Carly Pascal's right arm in a sling, so most likely her day is done. Lemley called for the cutting underneath. They're going to put Blair Garrido in. She will come in for the aforementioned Pascal. And now Tennessee are back to 11 people. So a disappointing end to the tournament for Pascal. Obviously, she's got to be pleased with herself in terms of gaining the goal. Right now, that goal would be the game winner if the scoreline holds up. But difficult for her to handle the emotions as the pain plus the realization of the injury really kind of starting to affect her. So her teammates are going to have to try to pick her up for the rest of this one, as she is going to be relegated to a spectator. Kelly had it knocked away. Arsenal Colorado starting to get on the officials a little bit too much as there was a tug there. Lemley kind of looking back. No words to be shared with the official. And now here's Garst. Garst from straight away puts a right foot through it, but it spins away from goal. So once again, TSC without Carly Pascal. And right now, her thoughts have to turn to her future. Sliding through the defense was DePriest, and then she's called for the foul. But Pascal's got a good future in front of her. She's headed off to Duke in the fall. She seems to be in a great deal of pain, so that has to play into this as well. And hopefully that is not an injury that is going to require any surgery. Again, most shoulder separations, if they're minor, can be healed within a month's time, probably less. Obviously, you have to be smart about it. In full disclosure, I was not smart about it. I decided I was going to go to the gym fairly early on. Now it's taken me a couple months to kind of work out my shoulder issues, but I'm determined, if nothing else. Coming over here now is Schultz. Garst coming all the way back from the wing position to take that away. Williams, service in, but it goes over the top and nobody there on the back door. Now the goalkeeper's caught out. She was just calmly trying to let that one roll over the end line. Ended up getting away with it, and Mulham will have the goal kick. Decent service in, but too tall for Lemley. Counterattack could be on here. DePriest with it. Garst running, making the run up the far side. As now the ball keeps going off the defender. Another chance here. DePriest wanted to come near side. Making the run was Garrido, but the pass would not find it. Nemechek. Runner coming on was Williams. Schultz for Osler, and now Metcalf. Maulers. 63rd minute of play. Arsenal, Colorado trails by a goal. Williams. Now for Nemechek. Dietrich wanted to keep it on that right foot. Instead sends it outside. And that one was stolen away. Now a left-footed chance towards the goal. Just too many bodies in front. Garrido just curls that one. Not quite enough to stay in, but still putting it in a good position. Schultz struggled with it initially. Now DePriest, left-footed shot, and it curled right into the grasp of the goalkeeper. Good positioning for Graham. Not a bad chance towards goal there from Nemechek as she put a right foot and then a left foot threw it on the shot. But Malham was able to get in behind it. The grass, which has been kept relatively short, still sticking up enough to take some of the spin off that ball. Another chance here for Dietrich. Osler intended that one for Williams. Still plenty of time left, but the clock definitely not on the side of Arsenal Colorado right now. Garrido had it taken away as B stepped into it. Garrido fighting to take it back, but B ends up with it in the end. Decent passing here, setting it up for Dietrich! Off the iron! That would have been it. The goalkeeper had absolutely no chance, and instead it goes off the post. Slipped on through. Can Schultz chase it down? She cannot. What a chance, though, for Arsenal Colorado. They thought they had the equalizer as Riley Dietrich, another K-State product, put a right foot into it. But it stayed a little too straight. Didn't have quite the bend on it to just curl it inside that post. Here's Williams. Is things starting to pick up now? Lemley trying to chase it down, but the defender stepped in front, and that will allow it to roll out for the goal kick. A little too short there for DePriest. DePriest able to steal it. And nicely defended as B was strong and not allowing the forward to get around her. Trying to go inside again for Dietrich. Osler. Nemechek as they switch the point of attack. Running onto it is Schultz. And White will just send it off onto the other field. Substitute coming in now for TSC. Chloe Tremblay will come back in. So Tremblay in, Garrido out. It seems like it's going to be striker by committee here to end this one after Pascal's injury. Now here's Tremblay. Through to Garst. Garst gets to it. The cross in. Dealt with. Mahler's coming all the way back, getting in front of that one, and then realizing that it had stayed in and clearing the danger. '69th minute. 90 to be played. Perhaps more if Arsenal Colorado can find another goal. White in the center third. That through ball was intercepted. Osler with Schultz making the run, finds her here on the near wing, space in front, but she slows up just a bit. Substitute about to check in for Arsenal, Colorado. It looked like Williams was struggling for a moment, but I think she was actually fixing a shoelace. Back into the game now is Meg Zimmerman. She replaces Haley Rockwell. Going around that umbrella. Here's a right footer into the side netting. When you see that net bulge every once in a while, you think just perhaps it had gone in. The fans, very smart over on the far side, not too much reaction. They realized that that one was going wide. Again, looking here to the near side. Lemley for Zimmerman. Edge of the 18 from the corner, cutting it back inside. Pulls it back on a string. Zimmerman doing a good job of keeping the defender off balance. Lemley just outside the box. Cuts it back onto that left foot. Defender blocked across. Second attempt, nobody home. Zimmerman put it in a fantastic area, but nobody was making the run into that space. A little difficult for Osler to handle, but it's kept in over on the far sideline, and then just as I say that, ends up being placed into touch. It's another plastic bag blows out onto the field. Seems like that's been happening rather regularly the last couple games. But it happens even at the professional level, so nothing exclusive to youth soccer. It's coming through on the right side is Schultz. Zimmerman curling the run back to the outside, and the pass is not strong enough to find her.
Hayden, go centrally. Julie, after this, you'll go centrally. Chloe, you'll go to the right. Julie will come to the left. Come on, Maeve.
Lobbed over to the far-hand side. Osler's going to chase it down. Drops it on back for Maulers. Maulers with the low shot. Difficult to handle. The rebound was there, but ultimately smothered by the goalkeeper. Mulham has done a good job initially throughout this game. You have to say, if you could find one little nitpick area, she's had a few spills. And every once in a while, that'll kind of put the heart up into the throats of some of the fans. Chested down by Bishop. Cheekily flicks it over the defender. Goes over to the right-hand side. She was looking for DePriest, but that wasn't quite on. Everybody's switching sides now as Williams is all the way on the far wing. Maulers. Dietrich slammed over here now for Zimmerman. Zimmerman with Schultz making the run on the right side. Finds her just outside the 18. Zimmerman right on that line. Cuts it back in front. Corner kick. So the near side corner kick. Lemley got a piece of that one. Good job to get up towards it, especially since she's not the tallest in stature. Back through the midfield, again looking for Lemley. This time it's going the other way to Priest. Garst was making the run, but now had to pump the brakes. To Priest, to the top of the box. And those are always sickening moments for a goalkeeper as you see it just roll through that 18-yard area with nobody attacking it. Finally, Arsenal Colorado was able to clear it, but when players are that far back in a dangerous area, sometimes it can be ages in your mind anyway. This one is going to roll towards the end line. It will be a corner kick. Addison Pusker going to check in. If they're wanting to do it after the corner kicks. Haven't had an opportunity yet, with each stoppage being a corner kick. Again, numbers forward now for Arsenal Colorado. Everybody except for two. And again, they don't put it into the correct area. All the way up now is Campbell. Counterattack could be on here. Garst touches it around. Schultz tried to slow her up. Garst into the 18-yard box. And then she stumbled. She tried to set herself up for the left-footed shot, and it seemed like her plant leg kind of betrayed her a little bit. There was a bit of physicality coming in from the side, but she's going to be upset with herself after that one, as she knows she could have done better. If there was a bump, obviously nothing much you can do. But that could have been the nail in the coffin. Instead, Arsenal Colorado still on life support. So into the game is Pusker. Kelly is out. Also checking in for Arsenal Colorado is Callie Crosby. And Maulers is out. Closing in on the 79th minute. Flag stays down. Schultz has to deal with it. Again, Garst really putting on the pressure. For TFC's sake, you have to hope that she's all right. She seemed to be somewhat favoring that right calf perhaps a little bit, but no limping in her movements. So perhaps just an equipment issue. Laid on through now. Into the box, dangerous to Priest. Tremblay from the far wing, cutting it back. Now tries to send one in. And coming out to make the save was Graham. Quickly out. Pressing upfield. Arsenal Colorado feeling it slip away just a bit. Time definitely not on their side now. In towards the 18-yard box. Williams lays it back. Nemechek. Little move. Right footer. Ultimately right at the goalkeeper. '80th minute of play. A little under 11 minutes left in regulation. Offside was the call. And TSC in no great hurry to get this one spotted and put back into play. The team from Franklin, Tennessee, trying to hold on to this one and win a national championship. The squad from Fort Collins trying to defend this attack. The referee emphatic that that was not a penalty. Set back towards the end line. Again, Graham comes out with it quickly. Running up is Nemechek. Nemechek up for Williams. Now Lemley. Zimmerman here on the near side. Zimmerman, decent ball across. The shot towards goal! Williams was there, but she couldn't steer it on target. And even with 9 minutes left, you have to wonder if that was the last best chance for Arsenal, Colorado. Some tussling going on in the midfield there. Lemley comes away with it. Lemley cuts it back, but well defended. Bishop bumped a little bit. Second one was enough to gain the whistle. Looking for DePriest. Overzealous challenge from Pusker. Gets called in the back. If you're Arsenal, Colorado now, you have to kind of run that tightrope. Make sure to balance everything. You want to go quick, but you want to be set up as well. You want to know where you're going with every single pass. You want the person that you're giving it to know that it's coming. You can't afford giveaways. Here's Nemechek. Zimmerman again open on the wing. Instead, they go towards the middle of the park. Lemley with a left footer. Got a decent scoop on it, but it was an easy save in the end for Malham. Tennessee Soccer Club getting several players warmed up here as they're going to try to roll out some fresh legs in the final moments. Decent ball through. B with a double team approaching, trying to play it off the defender to get a corner. She will get it in the end, although it wasn't necessarily as comfortably as she would have liked. Again, stay tuned. We will have a brief post-game after this match to crown the national champions. They will hand out championship T-shirts. As that one was spilled in front, but Williams couldn't get it on goal. And again, that would be the one discrepancy that you would have with Sydney Malham here today, is that she hasn't been able to catch some stuff cleanly. Sometimes as a goalkeeper, you just have those days. This one going near post, and it just wasn't quite there. For those of you wondering, there will not be a trophy presentation after the match. They do that at one of the main stages across the way. So there should be footage of that on the U.S. Youth Soccer website. after the fact. Now here's a chance for DePriest into the 18, trying to give the referee a decision. Centering ball, but it wouldn't settle down. It's still loose, racing towards that far post, and it just didn't have enough steam on it. Diving back was Graham. There were players left and right, but it just wouldn't settle down. An excellent chance there for Bishop as she thought she had it. Garst was there as well. But again, it just kind of caught up in the wickets. Trying to get it into Nemechek. Schultz from the half line. Advantage played here. Schultz with a little bit of space as she continues it up the wing at a somewhat plodding pace. They couldn't get it on to Lemley. Far side now as the defense swings around. Williams from top of the arc had that one knocked away. Numbers dropping back for TSC. Conversely, numbers pushing forward now for Arsenal Colorado as they try to knot this one up. 3 minutes and change left in regulation. No word on stoppage time yet. Substitute coming in now for TSC. Into the game is Savannah Hill. So Hill replaces Stum, who's struggling with her breathing just a little bit. She put in a good solid half in this one. Understandably out of energy as she's been forced to track a lot of players through the midfield. A good interception there. Put up the right-hand side, but it wasn't quite on as Pusker played it into the defender. Second attempt, still not on for Garst. Arsenal Colorado feeling things slip away. Time not on their side. 2 minutes left in regulation. Defensive miscue. Taken all the way towards the corner flag. Throw in one. Bishop moving up. They just throw it in. The tank. Bishop again. Now Garst. Bishop. Bishop around one. Left footer, and Schultz stepped in front. Dietrich up for Williams as they try to spring the counter. Nemechek. Schultz. Stolen away. Chance here. Goalkeeper out. Plays it off the attacker. But it spins away, and it would not settle down for DePriest. Two minutes of stoppage time going to be added on. TSC trying to close out a national championship. To Priest with the left footer. And it was right at the goalkeeper. Settled down by Pusker. It will roll out into touch on the far side. Roughly 90 seconds left. The board is up, 2 minutes at stoppage time. Just out of the reach of Williams. Pusker just blasted over on the far sideline. Substitute coming in now for TSC. Julie Garst will come out. Into the game, Sarah Severston. Give it away again. Another chance here. Severston touched it around one defender. Pusker to the far wing. Coach DePriest screaming at his team, imploring them to go to the corner flag. Into touch on the far sideline. One last gasp here for Arsenal, Colorado. Again, somewhat cheaply given away. Siverston can't get to the corner flag again. The bench for TSC up on their feet. They can sense it. It's only a matter of time now. One last push up the field. Again, not with possession. Here's Lemley stealing it away. Nemechek, can she find the answer? Driving towards goal and smothered by Mulham. Lemley settles it down, but she's surrounded. Still gets it off to Nemechek. Near side for Zimmerman. Surely this is the last attack. Zimmerman with the cross. Down for Nemechek to the arc. The shot was blocked. The clearance made. The referee looks at the watch. Still doesn't put the whistle to the mouth. Off the defender and out. Still alive. And there it is. The final whistle. TSC are national champions. Coach DePriest is doused with the water jug. The players out on the field celebrating as their long journey has come to an end with a national title. Emotions overcoming several of them as Coach DePriest has stayed down, as he has got to be going with tears of joy, as are several of his players, as they can't believe it. Coming into this one, perhaps they were a little bit favored. They were undefeated. They had only allowed a handful of goals all tournament long. They came in at 4-0 with a 2-0 win over Beedling, a 3-0 win over this very same Arsenal, Colorado team back on Wednesday. Then they defeated Nationals Union 4-2. They struggled in the semifinals. It took overtime to get a 2-1 decision over Cleveland FC, and they win by that same scoreline here in the national finals. But it didn't take extra time this time. It was 90 minutes of fantastic play, and Tennessee Soccer Club will lift the trophy. For their part, Arsenal Colorado did a great job of keeping their composure in this one. You have to give them all the credit in the world, because they saw themselves go down by 2 goals in the first 3.5 minutes, and you could have seen this one easily slip away. Instead, Arsenal Colorado rallied themselves. They managed to find a goal to get themselves back in it. Bailey Nemechek scored in the 5th minute, cut that lead in half, but it was ultimately not to be their day, as Tennessee Soccer Club get to celebrate a national championship. So the players get their national championship T-shirts and hats with merch in hand, they get to celebrate, and that will continue on into the night. So as the players celebrate, their families will surely come over and join them. We will bid you adieu for this broadcast. For everybody here at Turbo Sports, for Scott Cheney turning the dials, making us sound and look good, I'm Todd Panula. Until the next time, have a great one. We'll leave you with the sights of the national champions Tennessee Soccer Club Showcase.